Hi, today. Welcome to House Call. I have Karen from Philly with me. Karen, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Shell. How are you? Thanks so much for having me. This is really an honor.
I,
Truthfully.
I'm so glad that we made this happen. I know we had some scheduling issues on my end, so I really appreciate your patience with me and getting this together and joining me for this conversation today.
I'm so amped to talk about the music that we love.
We do.
So
We
this
do.
is great.
And you and I first connected, I believe, on Twitter. That's where I first discovered you, and we started to connect there and kind of like each other's posts. So it's always good to discover people.
And that's really what is so awesome about this music is that for the fans such as me, and yeah, I'm a personality in the music now, but I'm just a fan really. And for the fans like me to have Twitter and SoundCloud and all these other ways to connect with the producers and DJs is so awesome. And that was one of the earliest things that I noticed. And it's been great just having that connectivity with producers. And you don't have to be like special or anything like that. Like you can just approach people and they'll, for the most part, talk to you and if you like great song.
Well, let's talk about you a little bit. Kind of how did you get your start and your love for house music? Where did it begin for you?
Well, it's really interesting. Like I loved house music all my life, but I didn't really understand it. And this is pre-internet. There wasn't much about it.
Yeah.
So everything was sort of a mystery. And that sort of carried over for decades for me. I'm 58.
Yeah.
And so that was a big deal. Around 2018, I was going through something, social anxiety, and I was just listening to music and I heard a couple songs and I was like, people are doing this? Like over the years, I didn't know song titles or artist names, but we would hear the songs that either crashed over or you'd get a bootleg mixtape and you'd be like, what's that? Who's that? But around 2018, I was going through something real internal and the music and my transition, which happened around 2017, 2018.
Yep.
And I really bonded with the music. Once I found out people were doing, I didn't really know, I didn't really have access to the music. Not that it wasn't in existence before I got interested in it around 2018, but I had never had this much access and information. And I just wanted to learn more and more.
Got hungry for it. Yeah.
So that's been like,
did you have like a particular DJ that first, like you were like, this DJ is my favorite DJ and I've got to absorb everything that they put out?
well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention like the era of 1999 to 2000. I was living in Vegas and there was a really cool club called Utopia. And it's sort of like your story. Like I've read a little bit about your story coming up. I think it's in Ohio, right?
Yep. Midwest girl.
And you had a DJ that was like real impactful for you. I think his name was Ernie, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we would go every week in Vegas to Utopia to hear DJ Frank Richards spin. And he was all vinyl. This is 99, 2000.
Yeah.
And there was inside the club was like the big room trance. But out on this like really cool deck, this patio that overlooked the strip.
Oh, yeah.
He would spin till like 7 in the morning. And then we would go to after parties. It's just the nature of the city.
Oh, yeah.
But we would go every week and it was intoxicating. Like literally everybody was on ecstasy and whatever. So maybe that created a false sense of euphoria, but it was about the music even then. So Frank Richards really like made me feel like, and it was also cool because like it was real laid back. Like coming up in Philly, I had a hard time going to clubs because there would be dress codes and, but this was like so open, like everyone was really friendly, like real, like the beautiful people. But it was like everyone was just dressed how they are. And like, would start out at night and then during the morning the sun would hit and you're overlooking the strip. It was just beautiful. Then I got into different things. But around 2018, I heard a song by Avor called Aura. And it was magnificent. And it's gone on to have like 100 million, 200 million streams. And But what I really liked about the song was that it really connected with my spirit and my transition. And it really helped me go through that. So the music started to have a really big impact on my like spirit and in my life in general. Like, for instance, it could just be like, you know, his music touched me and it still does. Or there was a particular mix by Christina Sky. And when I was presenting male, it was really hard for me to like go in and buy women's clothes.
Sure.
So one day I was just like, I'm going to put that mix on, go in there and not care what anybody thinks. And I did. And I bought like a couple articles of clothing, but it was so significant. And the music's been there for so many great moments in my life since 2018.
It's funny. I talk to so many people where house music becomes part of a pivotal time in their life. They're going through something. For me, it was the long-term illness of my son and trying to process grief. And I have these stories all the time. Like I'm it's like it's something that lets you express yourself, get lost in it, let you let go of some things. I get really emotional with like sometimes I'll hear a song and I'll get goosebumps on my arms or tears start to run down my face. I have no idea why, but it's just that power of the music, especially if a producer knows how to trigger the emotional part of it. It's amazing.
Totally. Well, first off, I just want to say, like, I admire your courage for going through everything you went through with that. And also that the music was able to help you get through that. Like, even though it can't, be the sole thing, it's there.
Yeah.
And that's so beautiful. And the music really helps me like center me. And like just recently, like I felt like the universe was like conspiring against me, my karma and my energy. And I came to the music like hat in hand, and it totally lifted me up. It's going to challenge you. If you're going through something and you're really into it, it's going to challenge you, not just like housey, classic housey music, like lifting you up. Like prog is going to like make you think about things, deal with them honestly, and pretty much by the end of the song, you should be okay. Like you'll be okay. I've cried to progressive house music so often, and even like faster techno. Like I can't explain it. Like I cry to this music a lot, and it's not the music that's making me sad. It's bringing out my emotion.
Yeah, by getting you in touch with it a bit. And I'm trying to remember who it was I saw on Instagram. They were talking about how dancing along with music actually is better for depression and anxiety than a lot of medications. And they've studied it. And it's like, you think about all the elements the sensory elements, the activity element, and I really think there's something to all of that.
Yeah.
It sure helped me. Still does.
Well, I've seen video of you DJing and you're incredible and you're an incredible producer. Reflections is such a cool song.
Red Space was really amazing to work with. He's top notch guy. And I feel like I'm still in kindergarten, the producing side, but one day at a time. You and I were chatting before we started about my current procrastination on finishing a song. So one day at a time.
Well, I see that you're prolific in and out of the music, and it's just so awesome to see.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
So basically, just to give you a brief history, in 2018, I started listening to the music and absorbing it and learning a little bit, song titles and whatever. And SoundCloud was really instrumental, like the shuffle of SoundCloud and all these things, like whoever in control of the music on SoundCloud does an incredible job. So basically, I was like, I need to tell everyone about this music because it's so amazing and it has healing powers. And I need to tell everyone about it. So I basically quit a podcast I had that was super popular, but it had reached a darker audience and the audience semi-turned on me but there was like internet trolling and things like this. So I left that scene and I was like, I want to do a podcast about this music that I love. And I started that, and that was great. It with guest DJs and things like that. And where we talk about the music, and then like a real great thing happened. I was like, holy, I want to like meet people that are into this too. Ah, well, I just one by one started hitting up. I would go a search for house music on Twitter, and one by one, I would connect with people. I've made so many friends and gotten listeners and just great connections doing that. Twitter's sort of bottomed out. But
Okay.
about 5, 6 years there, and I love Twitter still. I'll stay on it to the bitter end.
Sure.
But for like in the heyday of Twitter, the quasi heyday of Twitter, I was really meeting people. I would promote my podcast on Twitter with hashtags, and I would get like 6, 7 spins that night, or you know what I mean. So there was a direct thing of promotion and fun.
Yeah.
The more so was like the connections I was making and learning, and people have really responded to that.
Well, that's really interesting. And I really like your lists that you do too. I've been watching those and the songs that you kind of really curate into your current posts as well. How do you go about putting that together when you do that?
Well, we do a couple cool things. We do every week, we do the Birds Ear View underground dance music hot 4 or 5, depending on how much I can fit in the tweet.
Yeah.
We put out a new list on Tuesday, a new chart, and I've never missed a Tuesday. And it was started during the pandemic. At first, it was a discipline, and then it became like, wow, I was always good at picking music in radio and different things, but I was like, I'm actually getting good at this. So we put out a chart, and I don't go by sales or spins or streams or anything like that. It's just straight from the gut, we call it. I pick like good songs, and I get real hype on them, and we kid around. We say we're the best in the world, but maybe we are, because it's like great songs that aren't there artificially. They're there organic. Chart. How accurate are they, or just whatever?
Yeah. Now it's gotten a lot more complicated, especially with streaming now, to kind of figure out where things really are at. That's for sure. But it's also good to pick what really speaks to you. It's kind of, putting a set together. You're putting what speaks to you rather than really what's number 1 through 10 on a chart somewhere like Beatport.
That's what we do. I want to go back to this, but I just want to say the other thing we do, which is at the end of the year, and you made it, we do our top 10 favorite mixes of the year. And that's really a cool thing. We've done that 5 times. The winners have been pros like Andres Morris to really skilled hobbyists. So that's really cool. In the beginning, I didn't really know a lot of people, and I made it like the winning mix, like real a pro. And now I pick the greatest mixes, but I like to give the DJs and producers a job.
Absolutely. There's a lot of really great non-famous talent out there, especially in the underground scene, which kind of leads me to our next topic, which is you and I were chatting about. There's some posts going on right now about what's wrong on the dance floor. And, how is, I guess I'll start here. How is the scene in Philly for underground as well as kind of more popular EDM? How are things in the Midwest?
Well, out here on the East Coast, Philly. So listen, the clubs here were dreadful for decades with the dress codes and the hardcore music and the don't step on my sneaker and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was really hard. I mean, some scenes popped up here and there. Right now, there's an incredible scene called Philly, and it's led by who's a really great producer with a lot of releases. Mayag, I think is pronunciation, and Stasis, who you may know. So these are really high-end DJs and producers that are spinning in Philly, and the scenes are really cool. And what I like about it is I'm going there 58 years old and other friends in my age group, and nobody cares. It used to be like, oh my God, that's the creepy old guy at the club. Like, what's he doing? So there's that aspect. And this music is the future of this music is older people. Okay. The dichotomy you're talking about is the EDM thing, like you said before we start. The younger people, the big drops, the packed room. Like, that's all great. And we're not going to sit here and say that's bad because, that's what the young folks are into and that's what's hot for them. But there's people who don't want to see DJs that are doing flips, back in the booth. And the future of this music for us is somehow getting more folks like us in our age groups to feel comfortable to come out, to hear the music they actually love.
Yep.
So that's what I think is going on here. In comedy, for instance, it was veteran comics that were running things and getting the club gigs. Then it became younger guys that had podcasts and big followings on podcasts. It totally blew open the whole industry. So it's where are you hanging out? Like, there's scenes for everyone. So I understand that pro DJs are upset. Find your audience and get gigs and somehow get your audience there. I understand how it can be revolting or repulsive to some DJs to see how it's changed. That's totally understandable.
I took my daughter to Winter Music Conference, and then, of course, her big excitement was Ultra, right? Giant festival. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll take you, but you also need to go to Factory Town and see a back-to-back for 4 hours by Hernan and Sasha. Totally different environment. She had a way better time at Hernan and Sasha. She didn't have her phone out. She was dancing. She was lost in it. And at the end of it, and she said that to me, she's like, I get why Ultra is overwhelming. Cause I was like claustrophobic in line and overwhelmed, and amazing artists. Like we saw Boris Brecha, we saw Adam Beyer. Like we weren't there that much. Like we were only, like I told her, I'm like, I can't be here more than a couple hours a day. It's just too much for me. It's too big. 60,000 people. It's too big. It reinforced to me, though, the need to really nurture our local house communities, like you're saying. And I love that they're nurturing that and all ages are feeling welcome. Like the scene in Montreal has always been that way. My first time in Montreal, I went out like 4 a.m. and you got like grandma and grandpa in their 70s with their grandkids and they're all holding hands, dancing on the dance floors, like no age range. I'm like, that's awesome. Fucking like, why America? This is awesome. So I'm so glad to hear that that's going on in Philly, where it's
really good. It's really good, and I'm so impressed. Like, they're booking great people. They got Mike St. Jules. They're amazing, and it's like I'm like, they're spinning. They had Eugene Becker one time, as the headliner. The only thing that I would say about being older in the club is that what I've seen is that it's for older people at the club, it sort of started out as like you were a novelty. Like you would see these videos online of older people dancing and the crowd forming around them and all that. That's not really what I do. When I go to a club, it's not about me. It's really about the music. I just want to blend in. It's hard as Transwoman 58, but if you're about the music, that radiates off you.
I'm glad to hear that. And I'm glad to hear the scene is returning. I have some friends in Ohio, which is where I started, and they're really working hard. They have a group called Run 614 that they're working hard to build there. And they just had Anthony Atala in town. And here in San Francisco scene's alive and very well. Some of the group, there's the Fuse Collective and Deep and Dope that are doing really good, like community building and nurturing the scene here, which I think is really important and hard work. San Jose, where I live, I'm actually in San Jose, not really a house town. It's tech bros for sure in San Jose. And some people, we're all talking and working hard to work on it, but it's not a big house town in San Jose.
We've had some really cool DJs from Northern California. That's really what I do. I focus on really talented people that need a boost or that I can support. So if they come from all over the world, I was so close before I got into this music to the globe.
Yeah.
It was just about Philly and New York for me. And it was quasi ignorant, like just to be like that. And then I started talking to like listeners, fans, friends, and talent from all over the globe. And it's been so awakening. And very early on, what struck me was how good the English is of a lot of these producers, and people take that for granted. But
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
it must, you work with them collaboratively as a professional.
Yeah. For
Another
sure.
quick thing I wanted to bring up, and my related to it, that one thing that I've been able to, one thing that really works for me is, due to a circumstance in my life, it's not a big deal. I really, I don't come into this music as a revenue producing venture.
Right.
And I think that's really helped me connect with people. I'm not after anything. I'm not after their money. I'm after their most valuable asset, their time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want them to listen to a podcast. But one thing that, as being as a fan in this music, is I'm devoid of knowledge or interest in the business side.
Ah,
I know that you have to deal with getting signed
right.
and how do you get residuals or whatever, however it comes in. And I don't ask people about that. And I don't really have an interest because I've been in the business side of radio. I've been in the business side of comedy. It's annoying. And I don't really, of course I'm poor. I'm not wealthy, but I'm not going to try to make like $100 a week on this music. Like, it's
Yeah.
more worth it to me to just love the music, radiate that, because I owe this music. It got me out of a tough time, and it's led to an incredible work-life balance for me. And a lot of people struggle with work-life balance,
I hear you.
but I have this music, and I can come home after a long day, and I have this music, and it's just been an incredible experience. I hope I'm not over talking.
Not at all. Rhythms, I love to hear why. To me, it's the same way. Like, I took a break from it for 10 years. I didn't take a break from listening to it. I did take a break from playing out, but it always beckoned me back. And I think working on it because you're passionate about it, and that is what you're doing. It's a passion. You want to share it with others. Those are the people that always resonate with me in the scene. And I think we all kind of gravitate to each other. And I love meeting other producers, other DJs that really approach it in that way as well. And I think it's so awesome that you put that together.
Thank you. I try to stay out of their space because what I get from them is the music.
Yeah.
And I love proud producers. Like, I say that they have to have rhythm, intelligence,
Yeah.
and also a little bit or some mystique. Before there was like all this online stuff, or even still now, like, like for me to be like, oh, that song is by Ethan Bass. Like, I mean, from India, like, it's so great. Like, and then I can just support them. But I'm not going like, did Ethan Bass make money off of his great song? You know what I mean? So I'm not there. And I respect that you are, and all my favorite producers are, but I stay out of that space. I stay largely off of threads where DJs and producers are speaking intelligently about it. I don't jump in there. On Twitter, that's fair game.
Fair game. I'd stay off threads too. I'm just learning about the production business side of it and not doing it for that purpose, more for see if I have something to say creatively and feeling like I wasn't expressing it and it was missing. So honoring expressing that and taking a risk to share it, which is pretty difficult. I'm more of an introvert. I've definitely had social anxiety. I get super nervous before DJ gigs every time, always have, to the point of I don't want to do this usually right before I start. So it's really good to work on yourself and grow and work through those things that if you don't work through them, hold you back in life, taking those calculated risks and putting yourself out there. So good for you for putting yourself out there, Kieran.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I love
I
it.
really love it. This lifestyle stuff that I live, is embracing this music. Like I said, I owe the music. I didn't understand it for decades. And I did want to give you a quick challenge.
Sure.
How would you define progressive house? It's very hard. It took me 50 years to come up with a definition.
So my music production coach, his name is Jason Brown, he goes by Jaybird. He and I were having this conversation today because the song that I'm procrastinating on, I don't think it's the current progressive house. I think it's what I'm hearing coming out of organic house or melodic house, but it is progressive house, but it's not the current progressive house. Like right now, who would I say is really Red Space is the current progressive house sound.
Right.
I think Guy Baroni is the current progressive house sound. And it's not the early 2000 progressives like the Deep Dish and the Saeed and Palash with the tribal elements like Steve Lawler. That's kind of gone to the side. But the thick bass lines, the thick progression of percussion and the way that they make that thick bass and percussion work together, along with that kind of housey, trancy elements in it, chuggy.
Yeah.
That's for it progressive. I'm glad it's gone back underground because for a while it was a pretty big room and I didn't like where it was going. Yeah, that's for it progressive house, I think.
I totally agree. Like I'm picking up, I don't know the terms that you know it like as well as you know it, but I'm like calling it like a form of like power prog. It's evolved so interestingly. Like when I got into this, I sort of drifted towards like great melodic prog, like, Lumadelic and guys like that and the Pika. I love, like, if I was put on an island and I had to listen to melodic prog for the rest of my life, I would like it. But I've sort of like, I'm cheating on it and I'm sort of loving this new power prog. And it could be a temporary thing, but I don't think so. I think this is really how it sounds. And the cool thing is, this music prog is ready for the club right now.
At Factory Town, every single song, you're like, oh my God, they can't top that. And then you'd be like, what the heck is that? And just one after the other, it was amazing. I will add this. I do feel like the amazing, great progressive house DJs, all of them are genre benders, all of them. Like you look at Steve Lawler, you look at Danny Howells, especially. Danny Howells, he'll play anything from deep house, organic house, progressive house, straight trance. He'll put it all in one set. And they do it in a way that it all sounds right together, where you hear someone else do that and you're like, what are they doing? They know how to make it all work in a progression. And to me, that's really the progressive house mix is not one genre. It's more of
Very
a
cool.
journey. It's that journey that kind of takes you from beginning to end, builds you up, tears you down, makes you cry, makes you laugh, makes you dance. That's my opinion.
That crystallizes it perfectly. In one song, you can go through all those emotions.
Absolutely.
But I did finally, after 50 years, come up with a definition of progressive house, and I do want to share it. Progressive house music is a rhythmic and intelligent art form ranging from melodic atmosphere and beautiful soundscapes to thumping dance grooves and devotees report healing and improved downloads. That took me 50 years.
That's outstanding. That's a great definition.
So that was a challenge because I have a hard time explaining this music to people.
Mhm.
And like, I wonder, like, is our role to convert people, which I think is really hard.
Yeah.
But I just really love the music, and I don't think it's our job to convert people, but we can say what makes it great.
That kind of goes back to that post again on social media of like the two different scenes. But I do think, like my daughter, for example, she's excited about Ultra. The EDM was her scene, but she converted herself when she heard Progressive House from Hernan and Sasha. I think it happens. Even opening the door through different types of music leads people into other types of music long term. So maybe that's the real thing, is it all works together long term if it brings more people in long term.
That's amazing stuff.
Yeah. What else are you working on right now? You got anything coming up from Birds Ear Review?
Yes, the Birds Ear Review podcast. I'm going to give, and I'll be able to like promote this later. I'm going to let you know what our next episode is about. It's very near and dear to me. This is exclusive for this podcast. People that, if they want to hear it before it comes out in early May, they will need to log into this show. So I'm doing a tribute because he's living, but we're celebrating a boy.
Oh, wow.
And I had a great DJ, Andy Skinner from We Get Lifted Radio. He also he was on a compilation on Manual, I think. His cut was called Somnium. It was really cool. He did a mix of all of War tracks.
Wow.
And um, I usually I curate the tracks and the guest DJ mixes them, and that's great. But I was able to say to Andy, pick all the songs. Just make sure you use Aura. You can't do a celebration without Aura. And this connected him to his own mix a little bit more, and it's incredible. And it's all about Avor. And I was thinking about how his music impacts me, why he's so great. I'll be talking about an incredible fan experience he gave me in Brooklyn last May. He made his Avor debut, and I don't know if you're familiar with this artist. Are you familiar with Avor?
I believe so. And what is the spelling, just for everybody that's listening into?
Avoure.
Yeah, Avora. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was from Ukraine. His story is very interesting. He started in Ukraine. It's kind of like the mystique and murkiness of where he manifested. Like in 2018, he came out with this song on This Never Happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's something unusual about that. But he's kind of a private person, so I interact with him online a little bit, but I don't write to my friends. But this experience he gave me was so amazing. It was on a rooftop in Brooklyn, and he was spinning there in front of he was supporting a group. I think their name was like Hidden Empire or something. I don't know, but he was really the best artist and should have been. He would never say that, but he's very special. And during his set, he called me over, and because I've been so supportive, he motioned me over during his set, and we embraced. And I said, "Hi, I'm Karen," and he said, "Yes, I know." And during his set, and it was the most beautiful thing. We captured it all on photos and video, and it was so heartwarming to me. It was like his journey and mine connected to his journey. I really am. In 2018, he was on Patreon, and he had 5 followers. And his monthly take was $31. And he had this very heartwarming story of his humble beginnings and humble existence in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And then I see what he's grown into. He has his own label now, Biome Recordings. Amazing. And I just really connected with his music. Everything he does is so authentic. So I was able to say to Andy, you pick the music, because I knew that whatever he came back with would be amazing. And it's interesting that Avor has one thing that I focused on in a little article I wrote about it was he has over 200 million streams, and people don't even know who he is. It's sick.
They know the song. They know.
Yeah. And it's really must be super frustrating for him to have all that streams, and he will hit. He will be big because it's destiny.
Sometimes the secret, remember the gorillas? Nobody knows who they are, because they always did the cartoon on their videos. And I'm like, what a perfect to be famous, and nobody even recognize him. He can go do whatever. He can still go on vacation and nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, exactly. And the people say to me, I spoke a little bit earlier, like, it's a challenge for me to define or explain this music. Like, people say to me, you just say how great Avor is. Like, you don't say why he's great. My real reaction to that is, why can't you hear why he's so great? But I'm not doing that to be like above vibe on people. Yeah. I'm really attracted to signature sounds. People like Discognition.
Oh, I love him. He is such a great guy.
I adore him too.
And Discognition. So nice, funny.
It's hilarious. And he's like he does incredible, like, hilarious stuff on Instagram.
He does. I just saw, he did something last week where I was cracking up, and he's really vulnerable, which is not easy.
Well, thank you for using that word, because I said that they need rhythm and intelligence and mystique, but the vulnerability, that is so epic that you said that. The vulnerability aspect of this music is so big, and it's unbelievable. I have a read post by Discognition where he's talked about how down he is. And that's what I love about this music, the accessibility and the honesty. And, all his fans just be like, no, you're great. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll keep doing it. You know what I mean? Like, we just try to support him in his journey, and he's doing great. And he's probably now one of the best club DJs in the country, actually, to me.
He's also got he's putting out good music. His productions are good. You talk signature sound. He definitely has a sound.
You kind of have one too, actually, in your stuff with Red Space.
And
But
definitely Red Space has his signature. And that's why I collab with him, because of his percussion and his rhythm and his bass. It's very signature. I can't replicate it. I've tried.
I love a signature sound show because, like, uniqueness in anything we do is a signature sound just is you can hear all these emotions.
Sure.
And I just really respond to signature sounds. I love that because it lets me know that they're elevated and they hitting on all the chords of what's needed to do this.
Wow. And I think, like we were talking, like vulnerability, they're actually expressing who they are through that sound rather than copying someone else. You've been vulnerable today too and sharing your story, which is really great of you to do so as well.
Oh, thank you. I really admire you. And so I'm just so super happy to be here. Like for me, I love the music so much. And for me to be like, wow, I'm on this really cool Pride podcast as the guest, it just makes me feel so good because I've put a lot of my life into this music and just supporting people.
Yeah, you do.
I really,
it's so fun to watch you and your posts on social media and the way that you support the community, your local community, the house community, different amazing producers. It's been fun to watch your journey since we connected. I would love to post a link to your Avoro show in the podcast when we launch it, if you'd like to do that, and we can make sure support in there for you as well.
Folks can check out my SoundCloud page, which has all our old episodes and some other great programming. We put out a year-end countdown. It's hosted and DJed by Mickey the Moocher from the UK. And it's really cool. Like, we did one in 2023 and 2024. And, it's a little unusual because people are used to just mixes with no announcing.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's hard, but, for the purists. But there was an old thing in radio when I was in it back in the day, and it really applies to this music more than any. They would put a sticker on record. Atlantic Records would do that says, when you play it, say it. And there's not enough of that in this music. So people hear songs and will love that and what I'm like, a track list are great. I don't really use them anymore because I want people to be organically listening. That hurts spins because it doesn't show up in searches. There's just songs. But I've moved away from track lists because I want people to just hear it and not know like, oh, that's next. However, I do love track.
Right.
And now
similar to talking one, because you want everybody to know who the artists are, but then if you talk, then it's like one of those, what do you do? Right?
Yeah. And the big problem with track lists now is that it gets real frustrating. I'm really glad people put them out, but I realized that if you're going to put out a track list, you're going to have to do the extra work and put timestamps on there.
That's a pain.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. But it's really important for people, like if you're doing that, again, I don't use them anymore, but I think that timestamps are, I love them as a fan, of course, but for my creative content, I want people in a certain mindset.
I love it. I love that. You're very branded, and your SoundCloud handle is what?
cloud.com/birds-ear-view.
I love it.
And they can check out all our old shows. It's so great. It was a new thing. I was like, I have to do a show where I actually bit the idea, not within this music, but I was listening to a hip hop radio show in Philly. And I found that before they would go to commercial sometimes, they would just play instrumentals and sort of like talk and kibitz and, through battles, and all this interesting talk was happening over instrumentals. And I was like, this is really cool. Like, this is something that you can connect with. And that became the format of our show, where a guest DJ does a mix. We've had some incredible DJs. Harley Beretta is a rising star here in Philly and beyond. Andy Skinner, DJ Walrus, and of course, Mickey the Moocher. So what we do is they come out of a mix. I talk over the songs, the instrumental, for the most part. And we also put out a no commentary version. So and our mantra, we have a couple mantra Birds View that are cool. We give our best in every beat.
Yeah.
The commitment to give your best in every beat. And people have turned in things that they thought are finished. And I'll be like, can you go back? Like, if we have to use this, it's great. But if you just do that, it'll be epic. And like, people do. Like, they go back. They don't want to, but they go back and they perfect it. That comes out, like, that passion and that attitude. I don't care about mistakes. That's not what I'm talking about. Mistakes are okay, of effort in work and in play. Just when they're hearing, like, if you're giving your best, that comes out of the headphones on speakers, and that's what our listeners love. So we have that, and basically our new one is jam out, get informed, be inspired. I really love to inspire people and support them. So we get information about the music, the artists, the DJs. We do fun, silly stuff during the show.
Yeah.
But we have the best music, and I get to curate it and work with the best DJs. And it's so exciting.
Right. I'm so glad you're doing that. And I'm really glad our paths crossed along the way.
I really admire everything you're doing, your story. You're definitely like someone I look up to in this music.
Well, thank you, Karen. I really appreciate that. I don't feel like I've earned it, but I appreciate it. And I appreciate that a lot. And thank you for sharing your story and connection in common of discovering it through going through things. I think it's relatable.
It is. So, and it's actually what makes this music so beautiful.
It is healing, like you said earlier. It really is.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today. It was so good to talk.
Oh, mate, like, thank you so much, and best in your career and all your stuff. And, I approached you because I thought it was so cool that you were enjoying this podcast. Anything in this music, I can't believe I'm on it, but anything in this music that supports it, loves it, like, and it's not about how many people view it, or for me, it's not about spin. We get a good amount of spin, not as much as my old podcast, but I don't care. I want spin. That's how much weight. It's not really about that. That's not a check. That's something you have to, you have the business side. So you have to think about all that. I'm real comfortable in that space.
I love it. And I think you and I should get together again at the end of the year and talk about what music spoke to both of us the most. Because I think those are.
I would love that, John. I would love to come back and recap the year with you.
It'd be fun. I'd love that. Consider it an invitation. Or
I'll let you go.
Okay. Thanks, Karen.
You're welcome. Take care, everyone.